P.S. Folder not found. Create new folder. Peter Schrager wasn't vague. He said, Shedeur Sanders starting this season is more than a possibility. In a city that has endured years of quarterback chaos and crushing expectations, this kind of certainty is rare. But now, the fan base is unified in its anticipation, drawn to Sanders' presence as much as his play. Billboards, social feeds, and locker room conversations are saturated with belief.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
For Cleveland, it's not just about wins. It's about witnessing a story they want to believe in. Sanders is becoming more than an athlete. He's a symbol. That collective hope is transforming how this team operates. Instead of waiting to see if Sanders might develop, the Browns are treating him as their now. It's a gamble, but one that ownership, and increasingly the city, is ready to take. What began as buzz has turned into momentum, and that momentum is driving a franchise-wide recalibration in real time. The Cleveland Browns didn't just name a new starting quarterback. They flipped their own franchise script in one of the most head-turning decisions of the NFL offseason. In a move that has fans cheering, critics fuming, and insiders scrambling for answers, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has officially declared Shedeur Sanders as QB1. Not the coaching staff. Not the front office after a long evaluation. Ownership. Period. And that's the part that's blowing everything up. Because this isn't just about a rookie quarterback getting a chance. It's about how he got it, and what that says about where this team is headed. This wasn't a decision rooted in long-term player development or a carefully charted rebuild timeline. It was about momentum, image, and making a franchise-defining statement before Week 1 even kicks off. Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round rookie, was not supposed to be the centerpiece of Cleveland's season. Not on paper, but from the moment he arrived at camp. He started rewriting expectations with every snap. Reports say he carried himself with composure, took over huddles like a veteran, and performed with a level of confidence and control that forced the Browns' hand. The question wasn't whether he had potential. It was whether the Browns could afford to wait. Jimmy Haslam decided they couldn't. And in doing so, he didn't just promote a quarterback. He bypassed the coaching staff strategy, undermined the head coach's timeline, and reshaped the entire organizational pecking order. That doesn't happen quietly. That doesn't go unnoticed in a building full of people who spent months developing a game plan around other players. Head coach Kevin Stefanski reportedly wanted a more cautious approach. He wanted time. He wanted control. What he got instead was a headline. Because from the top down, this isn't just about football, it's about entertainment. Haslam made it clear. The Browns aren't playing for patience. They're playing for attention, for buzz, for a quarterback who can command the spotlight, elevate the brand, and re-energize a city that's seen more quarterback collapses and playoff wins in the last 2 decades. The Browns have a long history of hyped-up quarterback decisions. Baker Mayfield. Johnny Manziel photos. Johnny Manziel. Every single time, the front office made a bet on someone with a story attached. And now, with Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round rookie and son of football royalty, they're going all in once again. Only this time, the twist is that the coaches didn't even get to place the bet. Ownership made it for them. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is delivering on that front. The fans are already all in. Billboards are up. Jersey sales are flying. Social media is flooded with clips, comments, and full-on declarations that this is the guy. Not next season. Not eventually. Now. That energy is something the Browns haven't had in years. Not manufactured hype. Not preseason optimism. Real belief. A feeling that maybe, just maybe, this rookie underdog is different. That he's the quarterback this city has been waiting for. And ownership leaned into that full force. SS and chaos. From the outside, it looks like a classic NFL power struggle. Coaches wanting time to develop a player, ownership demanding the spotlight today. But what makes this different is that Sanders, by all reports, earned the hype. His training camp wasn't just good for a rookie. It was disruptive. Veterans reportedly backed him. Teammates rallied. The confidence, the leadership, the execution. It made people stop and reconsider everything they thought they knew about fifth-round picks. Still, it's hard to overstate how rare it is for a rookie taken that late to not only jump the depth chart, but have the owner publicly push for him to start. That's not just a personnel decision. It's a cultural one. It tells the entire organization that the old way, slow development, cautious optimism, measured rollouts, is being replaced with something far more aggressive, something far more risky. And that's where the cracks start to show. Because when you sidestep your own coaching staff to force a decision, that tension doesn't go away just because the press release sounds unified. Behind the scenes, coaches have to adjust on the fly. Offensive schemes have to be restructured. Team dynamics shift. Players start looking at who's really calling the shots. And if Sanders falters early, guess who doesn't get blamed first? Ownership rarely does. It'll be Stefanski on the podium, answering for a decision he didn't fully support. Try and keep the locker room together while everyone outside the building is asking if the Browns rushed this move. But right now, that concern is being drowned out by excitement. Because Sanders hasn't just looked good. He's looked ready. Calm, accurate, composed. He's commanding the offense in ways that challenge every assumption about late-round rookie quarterbacks. The belief that he was a long-term project is already out the window. In fact, the idea that he shouldn't start is starting to sound outdated. NFL insider Peter Schrager even said the quiet part out loud. This isn't a maybe. This is happening. The Browns are giving Shedeur a real shot this season, not just out of desperation, out of genuine belief in what they've seen on the field. And that's a massive shift for a team that's typically waited too long or backed the wrong guy. Now, they're trusting their eyes and their instincts and their owner. But make no mistake, the leash is short. Cleveland's been burned too many times to go all in blindly. The expectations on Sanders aren't just about talent. They're about saving a team from its own history. That's a heavy load for a rookie to carry. One shaky game, it'll be explained away. 2, the noise will get louder. 3, the media frenzy writes itself. And if the Browns start losing early, that spotlight becomes a microscope. Because fair or not, Shedeur isn't just being asked to play quarterback. He's being asked to transform the Browns' image. And the Browns know it. They've been chasing this moment for years. They've tried brash personalities, big contracts, high draft picks, veterans, redemptions. They've chased wins through chaos and ended up with more headlines and playoff appearances. But this time, it feels like they're betting on something cleaner. Youth, leadership, star potential, and a quarterback who genuinely wants to lead. That's what Shedeur brings. He's not coming in with ego or baggage. He's showing up with tape, with effort, with presence. And for a locker room that's seen a revolving door of quarterbacks and coaches, that kind of steadiness hits different. It's what makes the vets take notice. It's what makes the team buy in, even if the move came from above. Still, nothing is guaranteed. Sanders hasn't played a real NFL game yet. No regular season pressure. No fourth quarter deficit. No primetime spotlight. That test is coming. Fast. And when it hits, the entire league will be watching to see whether Browns struck gold or made another classic miscalculation. Because this isn't just about whether Shedeur can be the guy. It's about whether the Browns just asked him to be everything too soon. That's the gamble. That's the tension. That's the reason everyone's talking about Cleveland, for once. Not because of dysfunction, but because of a bold, unapologetic swing at something better. And now we wait. Let us know if you think the Browns made the right call. Should Shedeur Sanders start right now? Or should they have waited and let him develop? Like the video if you're following this wild story. Drop your opinion in the comments. We want to hear all of it. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Because whatever happens next in Cleveland, it's going to be loud. JH, what we're seeing unfold in Cleveland isn't just a quarterback change. It's a complete institutional shift, and it's playing out in real time, right in front of the NFL world. When Jimmy Haslam pushed past his own coaching staff to name Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback, he didn't just rattle the football structure. He redefined it. And now, everyone's watching how this high-wire act unfolds. Because if it works, it's a stroke of visionary genius. If it doesn't, it's going to blow up in spectacular fashion. The Browns have become the story, and Shedeur is the epicenter. The last time Cleveland was this emotionally invested in a quarterback this early, it was Baker Mayfield. And even then, he wasn't handed the job out of the gate. Shedeur's ascension is faster, louder, and even more symbolic. A fifth-rounder jumping the line and taking over the most volatile position in all of sports? That doesn't happen quietly. And it never happens without consequences. Let's not forget, this isn't just an experiment. This is a new plan. The entire structure of the Browns' offense is being reshaped around a quarterback who, 3 months ago, was supposed to be a project. Now he's the project manager. The guy with the headset. The one reading defenses, absorbing the pressure, and expected to deliver wins. Not sometime in the future, but right now, that kind of acceleration doesn't happen without friction. And based on all the reporting, there's plenty of it behind the scenes. Kevin Stefanski reportedly did not support this move. Not yet, anyway. Not because he doesn't believe in Sanders' talent, but because he understood what it meant to throw him to fire before he'd even seen a real NFL blitz. Stefanski wanted control over the quarterback timeline. He lost it. Now he's tasked with building an offense around a rookie that ownership handpicked, spotlighted, and fast-tracked. So now you've got a head coach trying to win games with a quarterback he didn't choose to start, and a front office trying to hold a straight face while the guy writing the checks is making the football decisions. It's as dramatic and as volatile as it sounds. For the fans, they don't care about chain of command. They care about hope. And Shedeur has given them exactly that. It's not just that he looked good in camp. It's that he looked calm, in control, precise. And after years of whiplash from inconsistent quarterback play, that alone is enough to make Cleveland believers rally. There's a different energy in the city. You can feel it. The fans see the same things ownership saw. The leadership, the poise, the ability to step into a high-pressure environment and look like he belongs. That's rare, especially for a rookie drafted outside the top rounds. And in Cleveland, that kind of presence instantly turns a rookie into a symbol. This isn't just about football anymore. It's cultural. The city has rallied behind Sanders with a kind of emotional intensity that only sports can generate. He's become a source of pride, a figurehead for a city tired of being defined by heartbreak. His face is on billboards, his name is trending, and his jersey is already flying off the shelves. It's happening fast. It's happening everywhere. Local businesses are getting in on the hype. Media outlets are pushing daily updates. Fans are dissecting training camp footage like it's film study. There's a gravitational pull to the Shedeur Sanders story that's hard to explain and impossible to deny. People want this to work. But hope comes with a cost. The expectations on Sanders are unlike anything a fifth-round rookie has ever seen in this league. He's not being allowed to grow quietly. He's not being protected from the spotlight. He's in it, fully, right now. And while that belief from ownership in the city is powerful, it also brings pressure that can be suffocating if the results don't come fast. There's no grace period here. No long leash. The second things start to wobble. If he throws a couple of interceptions or the Browns lose a few games out of the gate, the backlash will be immediate. Fans might still support him. But the media? Brutal. The coaching staff? Already skeptical. And the organization? Well, we've seen what Cleveland does when the pressure gets too high. It resets. Fast. So what happens if Sanders struggles? That's where the real test begins. Because when ownership overrides a coaching staff to make a move, they're not just betting on a player. They're betting on the narrative. And when the narrative doesn't go as planned, that tension can explode into chaos, especially when people start pointing fingers. Will Stefanski take the fall if it doesn't work? Will Haslam double down or backpedal? Will the fans stay loyal or shift blame? That's what makes this such a high-stakes decision. Because it's not just about whether Shedeur Sanders can play football. It's about whether he can carry the weight of an organization desperate for a savior, while simultaneously navigating the politics of a team that may not be fully aligned behind him. And yet, for all the risks, you get why they're doing it. The old way wasn't working. Conservative quarterback development, endless rotations, empty promises, none of it led to anything lasting. And here comes a rookie who walks in with the kind of command that makes even skeptical veterans take notice. It's hard to ignore that. It's even harder not to believe in it, especially when your entire fan base is rallying around the same vision. So now, the Browns are locked in. They've made their choice. Shedeur Sanders is a guy. Not next year. Not when he's ready. Now, it's the kind of decision that defines a franchise, for better or worse. If he shines, Cleveland becomes one of the most compelling stories in football. A rookie quarterback drafted late, handed the reins and leading a resurgence. That's the kind of storyline that travels, that sells, that rebrands an entire franchise. But if he falters, it becomes another mark in the long, painful ledger of Browns' quarterback misfires. Another case study in impatience. Another reminder that rushing potential for headlines often ends in disaster. Either way, this is the moment. There's no backup plan. No hiding from the spotlight. It's Shedeur's team now. The moment Shedeur Sanders was named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, everything changed. It wasn't just a football decision. It was a cultural shift. For a franchise that's been trapped in an endless cycle of quarterback failures, this move was a loud, daring bet on the future. And now, as the dust settles, everyone is wondering, is this the start of something special, or just another swing and miss in a city that's seen it all? When Jimmy Haslam, the Browns' owner, made a decision to name Sanders a starter, it wasn't done quietly. It wasn't part of the slow, methodical process that most teams go through when elevating a rookie. No, Haslam's decision was loud, decisive, and unmistakable. He wasn't asking the coaching staff to make this decision. He was telling them. And in doing so, he bypassed head coach Kevin Stefanski's wishes. Stefanski, like many coaches, had wanted to ease Sanders in, let him develop at his own pace, and avoid the intense pressures that come with being thrown into the starting role before fully adjusting to the speed of the NFL. But Haslam didn't want to wait. He wanted results now. He wanted excitement now. And that's where the tension lies. For Stefanski and his staff, it must feel like a sudden and abrupt loss of control. The head coach spends months planning, evaluating, and trying to build a system that works. And then, in an instant, ownership swoops in and makes the call, one that will undoubtedly impact the coach's future with the team. It's not just about developing a quarterback anymore. It's about making sure the organization's reputation, morale, and future are tied to a decision made outside the usual coaching channels. The stakes for Stefanski now have grown exponentially. But if there's any silver lining for the coach, it's that he doesn't have to go it alone. While ownership may have made the call, there's no denying that Sanders' performance in training camp and preseason was exceptional. It wasn't just a flash in the pan. Sanders showed poise, confidence, and a level of leadership that's rare for any rookie, let alone one taken in the 5th round. He wasn't supposed to be the answer. But as training camp wore on, he became harder to ignore. The talk shifted from he's a developmental project to he could be the guy. It's a level of progress that has even seasoned players looking at him differently. Veterans have taken note. Sanders isn't just playing for a spot anymore. He's playing to lead. And when a rookie quarterback has that kind of presence, the team can't help but rally behind him. That's what the Browns are dealing with now. An electric atmosphere that has reinvigorated the city. Fans are hungry for success, hungry for a quarterback they can get behind. And in Shedeur Sanders, they see something different than the usual suspects. This isn't just another name on the list of failed quarterbacks. This is a young man with a pedigree, a legacy, and a raw talent that has caught the attention of the entire league. The Browns' decision to hand him the starting job immediately feels less like a desperate gamble and more like a statement. This is no longer about finding a quarterback who can manage the game. The Browns are hoping Sanders is a guy who will turn the entire franchise around. And yet, that hope brings its own set of challenges. The reality is that Shedeur Sanders, as talented as he may be, is still a rookie. There are no guarantees in the NFL, especially for quarterbacks. The pressure on him will be immediate. If he throws a pick in the first game, the critics will be out in full force. If the Browns drop a few early games, all eyes will turn to Sanders to see if he can handle the heat. And that spotlight, it's only going to get hotter. You can feel it coming. The second the first misstep happens, people will start asking, was he really ready? Was he rushed? Should the Browns have let him develop further before throwing him into the fire? It's the same narrative Cleveland has lived with for years. Hope fades into disappointment. But this time, it feels different. There's an undeniable energy surrounding Sanders. He's not just a rookie being thrown into the flames. He's a potential savior. He's a symbol of what the Browns could be, not just in the near future, but right now. And yet, all of that comes with an asterisk. Can he handle it? There's a reason most teams avoid putting rookie quarterbacks under such intense scrutiny. It's because the pressure is overwhelming. The learning curve is steep, and the NFL doesn't care whether you're ready or not. You're either good enough or you're not. And with a city like Cleveland, the margin for error is razor thin. The Browns can't afford to sit through another painful rebuilding process with a rookie who isn't ready to take the reins. That's why this decision could be a franchise-altering one. If Sanders plays well, if he delivers on the promise he's shown in camp, the Browns will become the darlings of the NFL. He'll become a star, not just for his talent, but for the way he's rejuvenated a team that has been starved for leadership at the quarterback position for years. If he struggles, well, Cleveland knows that story too well. And no matter how much the fans want to believe, the fear of failure will loom large. That's why everything about this decision is high risk, high reward. But for Jimmy Haslam, that's exactly why he made the call. He didn't want to play it safe. He didn't want to roll with a steady veteran and tread water. He saw the energy around Sanders, saw the hype, and decided to go all in. This is his moment to reshape the Cleveland Browns from a franchise mired in mediocrity to one that has a chance at something real. The spotlight is on Cleveland now, and Haslam knows the city is ready to explode if Sanders delivers. And let's not forget the fans. This is their time. The energy they've thrown behind Sanders is palpable. Fans are not just backing him because he's their starting quarterback. They're backing him because they believe in him. They believe that this young man who stepped in without hesitation and took control of the job is their chance to break free from the chain of quarterback disasters that has defined their franchise. In every corner of the city, you can feel the pride swelling. Cleveland wants to be part of something that isn't just about surviving in the NFL. They want to be relevant again. They want to be contenders. And for the first time in a long time, the hope is that Shedeur Sanders isn't just a fleeting moment of excitement. He's the future. But the truth is that the road ahead won't be smooth. Nothing ever is in Cleveland. The pressure is going to mount. The media will scrutinize every decision, every throw. Fans will keep the faith, unless things start to go sideways. The question now is simple. Can Shedeur handle it? The answer, as always in football, is unknowable. The Browns have rolled the dice, and it's a bold gamble. But whether it ends in glory or heartbreak, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Shedeur Sanders the quarterback Cleveland has been waiting for? Or is this just another premature decision in a long line of missteps? Like if you're on board with the Shedeur hype, and subscribe for updates because no matter what happens, this is going to be the most dramatic season Cleveland has seen in years.